A silence. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I am coming on to talk a little bit about the sixth initiation, communion, cosmic communion, embodiment, and the solar eclipse that we're in, the energies that we're in right now. The solar eclipse of tomorrow, but that we're already in right now. And I wanted to express some stuff. First off, we were all here to take a piece of the human suffering. As souls, we chose to incarnate into this reality, into this lower dimension, to take a piece, a fraction of the pain and the hurt and the separation. We identified with it. We claimed it as our own. We lived the tragic stories of the suffering so that we can rise out of it, rise from it, and become our absolute self, source self, embodied, and transcend the lower vibrations that have been accumulating within the frequency bands of the earth. So it's not to identify with our codes, our genetics, our color, our race, our creed, our ethnicity. It's not to identify with any of that. It's not even to identify with the human, because even that is just a limitation. We are here to embody the entirety of our source, presence from the heart. And that's taken work, dedication, to unpeeling these layers and these ideologies, social, cultural programmings, belief systems. It's taken us to disassociate from all of these labels, these words. See, source isn't words. Words are human, they're man-made. Frequency is truth. So that's sounds. Words make sounds, but again, they also have definition. To define something means to limit it. And you're not limited. You're limitless. You're boundless. You're infinite. You're creator. Many people, such as myself, have journeyed along the paths of astrology, esoterics, the path of the mind. And that mind was needed. Each and every one of us that have traveled the path of logic or astrological analysis, astrologic, star logic. What we were doing was we were clearing out using the logos, the logi, the mind, the higher mind, the cosmic mind. We are clearing the cosmic mind from all of the riddles. I call them riddles. All of the distortions, if you will. all of the guessing, all of the what ifing, and this might be it, guessing is what it is. Assuming. We use this logic to start unplugging our genetics. Many people get lost in this. I myself got lost in this with identifying, well, this is my code and this is who I am. But it's not. It's who you came here to play out, like an actor getting casted for a role, right? When you're first starting acting, I went into that for a little bit when I was in the Navy for like a hot minute out in San Diego. Wanted to be an extra, wanted to be an actress. I got my MC in Pisces. All I wanted to do was to make people laugh and be seen. And, that was very short-lived. But whenever you're just beginning acting, you're looking for any role. You could be an extra, it didn't matter. You just wanted to get your foot in the door. And that's kind of how it is. We all came in here just trying to get our foot in the door, right? So we took on these roles. But like once you've been in Hollywood or you've been an actor and you've been in a lot of movies like Jennifer Aniston, right? Then you kind of just get to pick whatever you want to play. Show me what you got and I'll take that, whatever one I choose. And that's where we're at right now, right? We don't have to play those roles, those limiting roles that we signed up for anymore. We've transcended them, or we're in the process of transcending them. And what's happening right now, energetically, from my perspective, take what resonates and leave the rest, is this becoming your ultimate self, embodying your heaven above and earth planes below into one. This is the holy union. And I'm going to read a little bit out of out of the Gene Keys book. No, it doesn't look like this anymore. It's a different book now, but I just have an old version of it. Anyways, and it talks here, it's opening the seventh seal. In the book of Revelations, the opening of the seven seals is surrounded by layer upon layer of rich apocalyptic imagery. Unless you are well versed in the alchemical symbolism, it will be very difficult for you to penetrate the true meaning of this wonderful prophetic transmission. There is moreover a demarcation between the opening of the first six seals and the opening of the seventh seal. We are in the opening of the seventh seal, grace. And I'll get to that in a moment. The seventh seal involves 7 angels and 7 trumpets, which sound the final judgment of humanity. The seventh seal is the spirit of grace itself, represented by the 22nd city and the 22nd Gene Key. And grace descends only after great transmutation. Transmutation is that whenever we perform the alchemical or epigenetic transmutation of our ancestral DNA. Grace descends only after great transmutation. It is like the rainbow that appears after the great storm, bringing complete transfiguration, the 47th city. On an individual level, the seventh seal represents the final absorption of all of the previous 6 layers of the human aura into the monadic body, the primordial essence. At this level, even the flood of revelations and high frequencies of the atomic body must be surrendered into the void of what the mystics term the seventh heaven. We are told in the book of Genesis that God rested on the 7th day of creation, and the sevenfold pattern is reflected in many cultural traditions. In the Hindu, it is known as the Sahasrara blooms. The divine essence can finally reunite with the material plane. St. John describes this event as the coming of the new heaven and a new earth. As the seventh monadic plane absorbs the final vestiges of our separateness, each plane below and its frequencies disintegrate to be reintegrated as the true monadic essence. This is the meaning of the sound of the seven trumpets, which represent the seven layers of frequency of the human aura. At the collective level, the opening of the seventh seal refers to the coming of the final human epoch and the return of the human race to its original Eden state. It is the great trumpet fanfare announcing the redemption of all beings. We are in the sixth portal of initiation, which is communion. Okay? Communion here is the mystery of sacrifice. And sacrifice is the city of Gene Key 19, which I've been kind of ranting on about, right? How its codependency moves into sensitivity, and then from the gift of sensitivity opens us up into sacrifice. And this is where we must sacrifice all of our desires, our wants, and our identities of our human ego, human programming, human belief systems, social, cultural, genetic, heritage, lineage, ethnicity, all of it, religion, all of it, to absorb it all, to swallow it all, and to then embody the all, which is our cosmic self. This is the full awakening of the Christ consciousness in a human vehicle, which y'all want. Everybody's like, I want Christ consciousness. Well, in order to gain that, you have to release what no longer is you. And whenever you realize that you're Christ consciousness, at least, a celestial being, doesn't matter of the identity of where your celestial roots originate from. It doesn't fucking matter about that. Just like it doesn't fucking matter about where your human roots originated from. Because we're all mixed, diced, and spliced and put together in a wonderful final feast, final dinner, final supper, right? We're a little bit of everything. It's like Thanksgiving. You put a little bit of everything on your plate. You a little bit of everything. Just like out there, you're a little bit of everything. Because whatever's out there, it's in here. It's just a holographic projection of this. So, this requires the death of that which identifies with the principle of form itself. This stage is often referred to as enlightenment. The light referred to is the pure light of the sixth body, the atomic body, which is born from within the Buddhic body and enlightens the lower three bodies. As it does so, it causes the causal body to dissolve, thus severing the link or the bridge between the lower and higher worlds. In mystical terms, this involves the dissolution of the soul, the aspect of the human consciousness that is drawn again and again into incarnation. Thus it is said that at the point of enlightenment, the indwelling awareness can no longer take incarnation and forever escapes the will of samsara, or illusion. The initiation of communion also shares its name with the 45th city, which describes the great mystery of taking the sacred sacrament. The communion involves the direct imbibing, or taking in, of divine consciousness at the altar. In entering this field of frequency, you are transcending all sense of being separate from others. This is symbolized by the blood of Christ and marks the final breaking up of the karmic residue held in your DNA. For the grace of Christ to enter you, you must be willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, to give up your lower bodies and their desires, feelings, memories, dreams, and knowledge, and to be taken over by the greater being who has been waiting all along within you. To enter this great initiation is to die into the second aspect of the Sacred Trinity, the Christ. And I literally have this marked in my book from I don't even know when. It says June for the planet in my book. Now, let me show you what's going on. My girlfriend Candace one of Super Sisters, by the way, Love Essence 222 on Instagram. If you don't know her, if you don't follow her. She's a beautiful oracle. So what we're experiencing right now, and this is like a Gene Keys chart. So I have the astrology chart, right? So I've got the astro chart up here too, all right? But this is just the Gene Key chart, which pinpoints specific locations of where the planet was 88 days ago, a Mercury cycle, okay? And where it is now, okay? And it also pinpoints like which bodies or planetary bodies are doing what. And so I want to make a point is that the sun is in Gene Key 45 and the earth is in 26. This is communion. This is the 6th initiation. Okay, this isn't just some tiny little lineup here. All right, we've got, we have, that's the body. We have the sun, moon, Mercury, and then when I put in for the time of the solar eclipse, when it's happening over here on the East Coast, it actually makes the ascendant. The ascendant is also in Gene Key 45. So now we have the sun, moon, Mercury, and ascendant in Gene Key 45. So, this is that communion. And I want to talk about what cities are being activated by which planets. Okay? And then I'll talk about the planets. The sun is the ego aspect of you. Your sun is your solar, your personality, your personal reality. Good morning. Thank you guys all for being here and joining with me. I know I'm talking really mellow and chill and calm because I'm very centered right now. I'm not my high vibe, high vibe, yes, but not my normal poppy, bubbly, saggy self. I have a lot going on internally and I'm getting a lot of synchronicities. And even last night, going to the beach with my sister Rachel, and we were sitting there, and Regulus was just dancing. She's like, I think that's we thought it was, looking at it, she's like, is it a UFO? I'm like, no, man, that's a star. They just literally will dance around and make huge circles. And it's I'm like, the way to tell the difference between the UFO or a craft, unidentified flying object, whatever, and the star is, the star will stay within its radius. And it'll do its own little dance. It'll dance to you. It'll blink. It'll get brighter. And then it'll come towards you. And then it'll pull back. And then it dances. Okay, so Sirius and Mars were talking to us. Not Sirius. Regulus and Mars were talking to us last night. And Regulus is one of the fixed royal. It is the fixed royal, star. It is the heart. It is the heart of the lion. And anyway, so that was talking to us last night. We were just getting downloads on the beach. It was amazing. But what I noticed when I was at the beach is how pulled back the tides are. And yes, this is because we're coming into solar eclipse and yada, yada, yada. But the water was so pulled back. I was like, wow, I've never seen the beach have the way the water pulled this far back. And, my last live when I was talking about how we're lifting the heart from the ocean. Now, this is from within us, okay? This is opening our hearts from deep within our plasma bodies. Deep within the waters, our celestial waters, are we opening and releasing the plasma heart, the blue crystal. And this is actually mentioned in the Keylontics or the Guardian Alliance teachings. And it's, known as an azure crystal, which means blue, okay? Blue crystal heart. And then there's all the synchronicities that went along with that, and Titanic and Atlantis and, and all of that. So they're just synchronicities to show me, because my inner child lives in Disney, like a lot of your inner child. If you were raised in the Western civilization where Disney maybe an 80s baby, 90s baby, and you grew up on Disney movies. So my inner child lives through these movies and these experiences, not in a sense of programming, not in a sense of I'm waiting for my white knight to come in and rescue me and happily, like whatever, that bullshit, but just an understanding of the dream within the dream. Okay. And the inner child and how they speak and how my source essence speak to me. Okay. Some people get it in all whimsical, poetic, fluffy ways, and I get it in these like innocent child. Like I have watched every episode of My Little Pony with my kids, the new ones, like every season, every episode. That is, my inner child is super like cutesy like that. Okay. That's who I am. And so that's how it speaks through me. Some people are not that way, but I am. All right. So 45 is where the sun is at, and the sun is the personality, the personal reality. And we have to evolve our sun. We go from being a mundane man, which is a person without a purpose. Okay. The ego, right? Just out there, money, 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 hustle, 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 get this thing, get that thing, material, material, material. And then they're just speaking from their ass most of the time, right? That's the ego identification. And ego is not bad. It, it keeps you from putting your hand on things that they don't need to be touching, right? So the ego is a good thing as long as it's maintained and it's not leading the show, right? It's not ruling your roost. And then we have, again, 26, which is about heart marketing, about branding. It's about coming out of pride, and that's where the earth is at. That's where we're at. We're in Sagittarius. The earth itself is sitting in the codon ring of light, which is one of the most mystical codon rings. We are all an aspect here, taking on a piece of the collective pie to eat that shit and to make something better out of it, to digest it, to transcend it, and to transmute it so that we can transfigure into something more. We can morph into something more. Okay, it's like whenever you're a video game, you got to go around collecting up all these pieces in your video game in order to, like my kids when they play Minecraft, in order for them to make to make anything, they have to go around collecting, certain wood or certain rocks or whatever, just so that they can make on their craft table, they can go and make like an ender portal, or they can make a shield or armor or whatever. Like they got to go around the game collecting pieces. And so that's all that you're doing. You're going around the game collecting pieces. And that's through people, that's through experiences, and that's also through the vessel that you have embodied, right? And so you're collecting the pieces to clear those out, to transfigure, to take them and to make something more out of it. That is the idea of the phoenix, is you are still, the phoenix is still an aspect of its mother and its father, but yet it rises from those ashes as it has burned and allowed for that soot to be sat in the soil and then to plant something to grow from that. Okay, like growing up, my stepdad was a farmer, is a farmer, still is a farmer, always a farmer. And so they go and burn the fields. When we burn the fields, this leaves, nutrients for the soil. And that's the idea of the phoenix, is it's nutrients, right? So all of your experiences, your suffering, okay, and your joy have created the nutrients for you to transfigure into something more. And this is happening genetically. Oh, I'm sorry. There's like a huge glare now. The sun's just hitting right on here. Okay. And so this is that transfiguration. And the earth, so we're looking at the sun being the electric aspect and the earth being the magnetic. So this is the father and the mother. And here we are, the child, in the middle of this transfiguration. And that child is actually the SQ, your SQ in your Gene Keys profile, which is your unconscious Venus. So this is where Venus was at 88 days prior to you being born. And 88 days prior to this day, the Venus was in Gene Key 22. So the inner child is in grace. Okay. So we have the energy of grace, okay, in between the communion and invincibility. Gene Key 22 is the city of invisibility. To be invisible. To be seen, to be here, to be in this world, but not of it. Okay, and then we have in the unconscious unconscious sun, where unconscious sun and unconscious earth were at was in Gene Key, the sun was in Gene Key 22, 88 days ago, and the earth was in Gene Key 47. Gene Key 22 being grace, Gene Key 47 being transfiguration. And so what we're seeing in the activation sequence of humanity right now, what is being born, because this is a natal chart, this is a day of birth chart. So the person that is born tomorrow will have this chart if they're born at 6:49 a.m. in the morning on the West Coast. Okay? But, no matter actually. Yeah. So anyways, and then they have in the Venus sequence, we have at the heart of the Venus sequence, we have Gene Key 22. And that is where the unconscious Venus is at. So this is the inner child, the innocence, the returning to innocence. And as we open our hearts and we step through this solar eclipse portal, this ring of fire is what they're referring to it as, which kept drawing me back to the ring of fire, which is where all the volcanoes are out on the Pacific coast. And I was getting guided to these past 2 days. I've been guided to ring of fire. And then my girlfriend texting me, this is the ring of fire, and then Oracle Girl, the ring of fire. And then, I've had all this ring of fire, synchronicities. I'm all right, so I'll start looking into this ring of fire, which is the ocean floor and the volcanoes. Okay. And then now they're calling the solar eclipse the ring of fire. And I was like, okay. And so that to me was all right, I was looking and everything's hidden in plain sight. Everything's hidden in plain sight. Well, it's because we live in a holographic projected reality. And that once we choose to see from our true eye, okay, our third eye, that veil comes down, the veil of illusion, the veil of samskara, the wheel of samskara, the veil of illusion, the Maya falls down. It's not about wars outside and all of this shit that's being pushed, and I don't care who's trying to push and say what's going to happen on a negative connotation. You can choose to look at negative, or you can choose to see what's transfiguring within you, within the greater body, within the fractal, within the awakened fractal of humanity. Because that's what matters, is about seeing how far you've come, right? And how far the awakened collective, not the unconscious, because the unconscious they're the NPCs. They're the players that you're running around having these experiences with that are reminding you what you're here to do. Eventually, you will sit with it and you'll be grateful for all of your experiences, all of your losses, and all of your gains. All of them. Anyways, and so as we open up our hearts, okay, which is what is happening, which is what this initiation is opening the hearts for your greater body, greater self to come in. And what does that look like? Well, it can look like a solar flash. It could look like, just the veils of the Maya being, waking, having a pure moment of clarity and knowing that you're connected to all, that you are all. And collectively, we create this and then we ripple this out energetically. And then the veils or the world around us shifts instantly, almost instantly, returning us to an Edenic state. There's nothing that says that this cannot happen tomorrow or that doesn't happen overnight. Matter of fact, Revelation speaks of it happening almost instantaneously. And there's a whole, you can look into the revelations of this from the biblical sense and dissect it without getting attached to it. I highly suggest you do that as well. Don't just take my word for it, do your due diligence. And and here we have, on this chart, we also have Mars, unconscious Mars, which is known as a core wound or your vocation. But a core wound is in Gene Key 20, which is presence, the city of presence. So we have we have communion, invisibility, grace, transfiguration, tenderness, liberation. Venus, where Venus is at right now in liberation. We have intoxication, which is where Mars is at right now. We have grace, which is where Venus was at 88 days ago, a whole Mercury cycle, which is your body, which is communication, your nervous systems and everything. And then we have Mars, unconscious Mars, where it was at 88 days ago in presence. And then we have unconscious Jupiter in Gene Key 49, which is rebirth, where Jupiter was at 88 days ago in the city of rebirth. And then where we have Jupiter at right now is in the city of freedom. So we are rebirthing our freedom through self-acceptance and liberation by being in our presence and by emanating grace from within our presence, our bodies. That is what it takes. We don't need to attach to this. We just need to read these. That's all we ever do, is we just read these. But the problem is the human, it's not even a problem. I always say, this is a problem. It's not the problem. It's just human. The thing is with a lot of people, and myself included was this way, is we had separate abandonment. You know, our parents neglected us and treated us like shit, or we had to cater to them, to their every whim and every need. And so when we come onto this journey, we want so badly to feel good, right? Because we have low self-esteem, low self-value, low self-worth, right? So we start identifying, we start attaching to these labels, and I'm part of the 144, or I'm part of this is a freaking, in the Gene Keys, there's the tribe 55, and it's like all these fucking people that have Gene Key 55. Again, they're a part of, now they're part of a clique, a crew. They feel accepted. They feel understood. When people have similar codes, they're like, oh my God, you totally get me. I have that code. And it's like a kindred feeling. It's like, oh, I have that Barbie, or I have that race car. Dude, let's go ride bikes. You got skates, you got bikes. Let's hang out, man. Whatever, And so it's like a part of you feel accepted. It's a community. Right? Just like whenever we come into this and we're like, oh, it's soul fam, it's community, it's acceptance. And so a lot of people identify with their codes, which in truth, they're not yours. They're part of the vessel or the lineage that you incarnated into. And yeah, you play it out. It's been your role. It's been the character that you like, yep, I just want to get in on this. I want to be in this movie. I don't give a shit if I'm an extra or if I'm a leading role. Just get me in this. It was your character. And now it's about releasing that character. The movie is over. The scene set, done. No more takes. It's over. And you're stepping into your quantum self, which, who is that? What does that look like? Well, that's what we're rebirthing right now. The Edenic state. Who are you? Who are we? Without our pain. Without our suffering. Without our story, without the limitations, the expectations, without the titles and labels. Who are you? Your presence, your omnipresence, your source, your whatever you choose to be, to play, to create, you're all of this. And so when I was at the beach last night, seeing the tides pull back so far, and I kept getting the guidance to the ring of fire, and I was like, everything's hidden in plain sight. And I was like, well, what if I was telling Rachel, and I was like, I had a lot of people reaching out to me thinking, telling me like, are we really raising this giant crystal out of the ocean? I was like, well, I kind of said it in more of a metaphorical term. I was like, but... told her, but what if? I was like, what if we did all stand around on solstice and some miraculous thing happens and, we're raising, and all of a sudden this giant fucking floating crystal starts making its way from the bottom of the ocean and it starts floating to the top. I was like, wouldn't that be like, pulling the plug in a bathtub? And we just started laughing. I was like, could you imagine? Because the waters were pulled back so much. I was like, could you imagine, like, if that was really it? Like, we just pulled this giant crystal, and it acted as like a bathtub draining, and then all of the ocean waters went back into the earth itself and revealed all of the hidden temples, pyramids, ancient cities, which is what I was guided to during all of this like volcano ring of fire research. I was like, all of these hidden cities that are under the ocean because of the flood that came before the deluge, the flood, and hid everything from sight, but it's just been under the waters, your waters, everything's been in there. It's just been under your emotions, which is what the oceans are, the emotions. So what if that happened? What if we did see something like that happen? I will not say that it's not possible. You will not see my spiritual Disney ass not saying it's not possible. I think it's absolutely fucking possible. I think anything and everything is possible. One more time. Anything and everything is possible. But what if that happened? There would be no denying anything. Nothing could be denied at that point. I just triggered your dream. Very well. You know, and I just made my invite for my website. If you guys haven't checked out my website, please go check out my website. Subscribe for the free tribe membership. You know, I got some videos on there y'all could watch and learn about some gene keys and shit if you want. But anyways, I made the invite for the event and I posted it. You guys could see it. It's literally the girl from the movie Atlantis, and she's rising. She's got her crystal, and it's leading her up. Lemuria was everywhere. Lemuria was when the earth was the entire planet was water. We were forming the emotions. So anyways, Lemuria was everywhere. It wasn't just in one location. It was everywhere. And so just imagine that. Just imagine what that would feel like, right? As your heart, your crystal heart rises within you, your higher heart opens, you take in this full embodiment, this enlightenment, your atomic body absorbs, right, all of the lower bodies, and you come into this Christed state. I am no longer Carrie, I am Christ. I'm not identified, right? Just like there wasn't just one Buddha, there's all kinds of Buddhas. They're all Buddhas, right? They're all Christ. So we're not identified as individual beings. We're united as one Christed consciousness, one planet, one being, working in harmony, all individually, interdependently, working together, like the bees work for the queen bee, which the queen bee would be the earth, and we are all the worker bees. No hierarchy, it's a headarchy. It's where we all work together in synarchy, in team, in tandem. So this embodiment, I mean, you can look at these charts, and I'll just let me just riddle off real quick the cities that are activating here. The sun is activating communion. The earth is activating invisibility. Okay. The moon, communion. The north node, mastery. The south node, invincibility. Jinky 9. Mercury, communion. Venus, liberation. Mars, intoxication. Divine intoxication. Becoming completely indulged within yourself, with your love, with your joy and your laughter and your play. It's the ecstatics. Okay. And Venus, by the way, liberation. Venus here at Jinky 39, that's Sirius B. That's actually what she's connected to. She's no longer, Venus is not really a part of our solar system. She's here assisting humanity. She's ascended into Sirius, into the next octave. So she's assisting Earth in its ascension process. So we're liberation at, that's actually my ascendant, right? Jinky 39. This is where Venus is. So we're liberating through the assistance with Sirius B, which is the 6th universal stargate. And then Mars is in intoxication. Jupiter is in freedom, spiritual freedom, spiritual freedom, spiritual abundance. This is our spiritual inheritance here. Then we have Saturn in empathy. Empathy is the energy of understanding that you are me and I am you, and we are one. And energetically, you feel this. You fall asleep. Oh, I'm glad that my voice is soothing this time. All right, then we have Uranus, the cosmic mind, in silence. And this is the gift of invention. And it brings us into the city of silence, where we come into no time, no space. When we sit into meditation and we just allow for what is to come through, to pass, and to be in the absolute essence of cosmic silence, the cosmic mind, before the thoughts, the witness, if you will. So the cosmic mind is witnessing all of this. 36 is where Neptune is at, and this is the city of compassion. And, you know, did I say that? Yeah, Neptune, sorry, Neptune, yeah. Neptune's in compassion, Jinky 36, and Neptune is the divine. So the divine has moved on out of Jinky 22, which it was at for 2.5 years, which is what initiated us being in the 5th initiation, which was the announcement or being pregnant with Christ consciousness. And now we are birthing it. And she's moved into the divine has moved into the essence of compassion. And now she is birthing this compassion upon humanity. She has compassion for humanity. So she's releasing and setting us free. Free to be within that Edenic state, being out of the demiurge and going back into the heart. Higher heart. Pluto's in justice. Enough said. Chiron is in valor. Dark Moon Lilith is in Jinky 8, which is exquisiteness. Having your own style and authenticity. Being the rebel and not settling for any mediocrity from anybody, from no one. And calling a spade a motherfucking spade when you see it. Right? Somebody coming out there trying to be all high and mighty and holier than thou. Be like, bitch, let me knock you off your pedestal real quick. Drop them legs. Plop! Now let's see if you pop up with an attitude, because that'd be real. Because the shit you're throwing out your mouth right now is fake as fuck. That's some Lilith right there. Not wanting to fuck with that mediocre shit. Look, anybody can get in line and be like, oh my God, I'm so sovereign. I'm so free. I'm so loving. I'm so unconditional. This is, some fluffy words full of fluffiness. Anybody can be a fluffing fucker out there and go grab the metaphysical dictionary, how to fucking shoot your words with fluff all around it. But can you be real? Can you say what you feel without having to use buttercup and sugar dumpling and all this other fucking fluffy words around it? That might just be who you are too, though. I'm not trying to be mean, but my point being is can you be you? Who the fuck are you without, trying to fit into somebody's mold? Because, by the way, this whole spiritual community, there's a certain way you got to look and a certain way you got to act and a certain way you got to set up things because there's protocol. Bitch, please, miss me with that shit. I'm sorry. I'm not here to be your little, spiritual goddess. I'm here to be me. And that's a motherfucking rebel with a cause, which is Jinky 8. Rebel with a cause, okay? Coming in here and taking shit down, which happens to be my North Node. Pretty fucking fitting, right? But I'm not trying to identify with that shit either. Just being like, all right, I see you. I see what you're trying to move me through, what I got to do. All right, but I'm not going to identify with that. Although it fits, because everything is math, and these are just codes. She said, miss me with it. Yeah, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I might offend people. Don't take it offensive if that's just the way that you, like, your source channels and flows through you. I have my moments when it does too. But my point being is, like, I'm just really pointing out that that's not for everybody, okay? That's for some people. All right, and then we have the ascendant in communion as well. And then we have the MC, which is your highest state of conscious awareness. Okay, this is the highest placement of your consciousness. Okay, where you peak, when your connection to the cosmic consciousness, where your cosmic communion right here with your higher self is your MC. And the MC of the planet is in Pisces. It's in Jinki 37, which is tenderness. Okay, it's the city of tenderness. And then the IC, which is your internal core, like your computer has an internal core processor. So it's like it's what makes everything go and like organize within your quantum computer, yourself, right? And there's other astrology definitions for this, but this is what came through me whenever I started flowing with all of my knowledge and teachings and understandings of all this stuff. So it's your internal core processor. And the IC is in Divine Will, which is Virgo. And that's Jinki 40. You want to know something? That's my radiance, or my 40 is my radiance. It's my unconscious sun. And tenderness, the MC, where it's at, is my unconscious earth. So it's my radiance sphere and my life's purpose sphere in my Gene Keys profile. This one. Okay. Bink. So it's bink, bink. What does that mean for me? Not really much, other than it connects and I have those codes, but fucking we got them all. I can just rattle off and be like, I know that one, I'm getting that one, I'm getting this one, I'm getting that one. They're attuned. So anytime that a planet is connecting to something that you have in your body, just like, you know, with people that got the injection, right? Whenever they're reacting to metal because they got something in their body, metal, they walk by metal, they get stuck to the wall, they get pulled to a wall, right? So anybody turns on a magnetic, right? A giant magnetic, they're going to go flying that way. Not funny, but not funny. So it's a magnetic, it's a connection. Oh, it was so good. But no, it's not funny. It's not funny. But a little bit funny. All right. So my point being is that's a magnetic. So if you have these are active, highly a part of your coding in your DNA, you have all of them. But if you have them specifically, which ones, because there's more than just your gene key chart, you have like 48 of them, if you will. Like that's including, and that's not including like any of the other asteroids. This is just like some base ass asteroids, you know, Chiron, and they have Dark Moon Lilith on here. Woohoo! You know, like there's so many more that go into play with this, but we'll stick with 48 out of the 64. Okay, so anytime that one of your codons gets, or whenever your codes or your keylons or your gene keys or gates or whatever get activated, you know, because a planet has a magnetic there, and so you're getting shifted accordingly. So just take it as you will, like that. Instead of identifying with it, you know, and oh my God, I'm trapped in this line and that line, I'm repeating this and that. The reason why you're repeating shit is because you won't leave it. Like, if you don't get out of the fucking, we got all these little loop-de-loops. Sarasota started putting in all these like little roundabouts, because they wanted to make traffic move smoother through the city. Let me tell you about this. They would be efficient if there weren't so many inefficient drivers living out here, like Jiminy Criminy. But anyways, these little roundabouts, right? You could just keep going around and around and around and around and around until your ass decides to go, oh my God, that's the direction I want to go. Well, that's what you're doing. You keep cycling around like, oh, I can't read. People have read their freaking Gene Keys 70, 80, 100,000 fucking times. And they're still there. I've been doing the Gene Keys since it came out in 2007. I'm sorry. Holy fuck. Did you have fun on that merry-go-round? That carousel? Did you switch horses? Jesus Christ. Ascend already. Like, get out of your fucking shit. Quit identifying, quit attaching, quit trying to psychoanalyze everything. You 1-3s, my God, I'm sorry. or the 3 1s, get the fuck out of your head. Let go. Move on. Push forward. Next chapter. Find something else to do. Now you've dissected, you know your codes. Go and enjoy them. Go play. Go have fun. Go dissect a new project. Quit hammering your fucking nail. It's in. The nail is in. The board is hammered to the floor. It's there. Move on. This is why I have a hard time with teaching, because I'm like, all right, I've taught all of these Gene Key courses. I went through all the code honorings. I've done like 38 courses already. I'm done. I'm fried. I'm frizzled. I'm out. Like, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I sit here and talk about these things and how they're playing out and through the planetary alignments. But putting me behind a desk again, just try to sit there to explain this shit again. I'm sorry. I have a little sticker on my desk that my really good friends Hassan and Ellie got me. It says, bang head here. Dunk. That's how I felt. I was like, dear God, I can't do this anymore. So I had to go on and I have to go experience new things and go into new teachings, go into new avenues in my life, because I just can't keep going around the motherfucking Ferris wheel, what it's called, merry-go-round. I can't go on that merry-go-round anymore. And that's how I feel like everybody. You get there, get what you need, and get on with yourself. You know, I know some people that's not everybody's design. A lot of people are there. They got to have like deep contemplation. If you're like a 4-6 or something, you got to have this deep contemplation. It's an embodied, it's a feeling. But then y'all get lost in your feelings and you get lost in your own like depth and how deep you are and how feeling you guys can get. It's like y'all can feel, y'all can share and spread the love too. And just move forward. Sorry, my 5-1 rant. Identifying. It's just a rant. Maybe somebody needed to hear it. Maybe I just need to hear myself. So this embodiment process, what does it look like? Well, it could look, because I had a lot of people ask me, what do you see? I don't see everything. I don't know everything. I don't know shit. I just get what comes to me and I put it out. Like I put it out and the universe will send me, which is me, sending me confirmations that it's happening. Now, what's happening in me should be happening in you, because I am you and you are me, right? To an extent, in your own time, whenever you decide to allow it to. And that's the difference. It's like we're all on this sine wave until we're not. Until one of us, or 3 of us, or 300,000 of us decide to go up, we're going up. And the other ones are just like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Ah! They hang on to their shit. Just hang on to it. Stop hanging on to it. Let go. Let go. Let go. So that you can go up. You can try new things. New experiences. New people. Learn new things. What's up, Disco Dove? What's up, Mystical Adventures? What's up, Charlie? Hey, Blessed Brooklyn. Holy shit, be like. I like your, oh, that's good handle. Nice handle. Well, thank you guys all for joining. But as far as what this looks like for me is like, look, the synchronicities that I'm getting are okay. The crystal is coming up. It's going to act like a Drano. I was like, it's going to act like a draining effect, and we'll see the cities that have been beneath the waters the whole time. But again, what are the highest states of light, or the fifth dimensional frequencies called? Cities, highest states of light. So underneath the waters, your plasma waters, your etheric waters, your celestial waters, the heavenly waters from above, below. So, I mean, as within, so without. I'm not going to doubt anything. I'm leaving everything up for the divine plan to play out in the most mystical, magical fucking way possible. And then to top that off, I woke up this morning and there's this girl I kind of follow. She shows up in my feeds. She's a cute little starseed. She's young and always smoking her pot and always putting random shit out there. And, but she's so jovial. She's so fey and jovial that I love to see her stuff. Like, yeah. See? So Unspeakable Truth's thought says right now, I resonate a lot with the Guardian Alliance teachings, the Ayasha or Iyasha, Ashiana Dean teachings. she mentioned about the same thing, that we will be able to see those cities in 2022. Yes, I think she did. I actually have never watched KDDL 3. Nope, I just got down to KDDL 2, watched 50 fucking videos, and read the entire manuscript, and I was like, I got enough. And then I have True About It. I have all the other shit, so I have not even watched the KDDL 3. So that's news to me, but that's awesome. I love it. Everybody's like, why don't you just watch it? You know what? Because sometimes jumping to the end of the movie ruins the movie. And I am one to live in the moment. Did I mention that I have Gene Key 20 presence as my earth? Oh, there's an identification again. But it resonates. Anyways, what was I getting at? Fuck. That threw me off. I don't remember. So it doesn't matter. It wasn't meant to be. But I will say, oh yeah, no, the little flower girl. That's right. The little Fae girl. She's so cute. And she just posted this morning about how this indigenous woman gave her a letter to give to her family, because her soul family, because she was going to give birth, was she giving birth? There was going to be like this big birth, and everybody needed to get to the top of Mount Shasta because there was about to be a flood. And I was like, Bazinga, bitches! Because I was like, there's about to be a flood, and we're all going to stand there and hold this wave off so that it doesn't, rush Florida coast with water. Which some of the coastline could use a lot of that water down there in Miami. That's a shithole. A little bit of Tampa, too, by the way. It's a shithole. It has the possibility of being something amazing, but a lot of swamp up in there. A lot of demon crats. I said that. I don't really hang out in Tampa unless I have to, unless I'm going down there to anchor out some freaking energy. Like I had to go to an Ed Sheridan concert in the middle of Tampa and hold energy in 2019 for like a whole stadium full of people, which was really badass. Like I'm the only one out there doing like a light language, and Ed Sheridan's fucking singing his music, and I'm like, yeah, we vibing, brother. You're singing your love tunes, and I'm over here dropping codes and like anchoring it out all these people. It was dope. And then I went there just recently to some kava bar, which kava is like a new age coffee. Fucking everybody's on their kava kick. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I was like, we're at a bar, but there's no alcohol. It's just kava, 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 kava. It was cool though. But we were next to this huge, it was the first Catholic church in Tampa, and it was the Heart. It was the Sacred Heart of Mary, and it's a Catholic church down there. And I thought that was pretty badass. I was like, this is beautiful, because it was about the heart. And I hang out more in St. Pete and Sarasota. These are pretty boss-ass areas. Other than that, I don't fuck around with Florida too much. I haven't been all around it. Been down to Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Shithole. That's all I'll say about that. I heard the Keys are really pretty. Other than that, I don't really know. I was stationed in Pensacola when I was in the Navy not stationed. I had to go there for A school. So I was in Pensacola too. God, I guess I've been all over Florida my whole life and didn't even think about it. I lived here when I was 5 too in Tampa. My mom married some damn Marine for a short minute, and I lived out here. I don't know why I'm telling you guys all so many random stupid shit. Thank you guys all still for listening. I can't believe I'm ranting on about dumb shit. Anyway, she had talked about, back to the fairy girl and what she was talking about, basically that flood and, the volcanoes and the Ring of Fire all along the Pacific Rim, that connects to the San Andreas Fault. Hence the reason that vision I got when I first came into my Kundalini awareness, and I had all of these premonitions hit me, and I would tell my husband, I was like, get the fuck out of here, we're gonna die. And all these things started happening, and so the last thing that has to happen is the San Andreas Fault line. And so get to high grounds, and I told all my friends that were in California and Temecula area, if you're there, get to the top of Idlewild, get the fuck out of there and get to Idlewild, get to as high as you can in California, or get out. So I love you all. I'm getting timed out. And until my next live, happy Cosmic Communion.